pleasant good Wednesday evening. I'm Chase Miller. Welcome to the YourLiveEvent.com Coaches Show as presented to you by the Hillsborough Economic Development Corporation. This week on the program, a lot of hoops across the state of Minnesota and North Dakota that we'll be joined by for both boys and girls basketball. Also, we'll be joined by Starcevic with our senior spotlight from the Kindred Vikings. But let's get right into our conversation here. Kind of more of a hoops hour, so to speak, this week on the YourLiveEvent.com Coaches Show.
Talking with the head coach of Hawley Nugget Boys Basketball, Nathan Stoa, here on the YourLiveEvent.com Coaches Show. And Coach, I know we kind of get an update weekly with our coverage on radio on the Coaches Corner program, and now a chance to put our ugly mugs, good-looking faces, whichever people want to appreciate, I'm not sure. But get out in front of everybody. Get an opportunity to chat a little bit about the Nugget Boys basketball team. And I know really at this stage of the season, we're a couple of weeks now where you've had the lineup you were thinking about at the beginning. I had some injuries and other things that came up that, of course, part of navigating a season. But at this stage of the season, how are the boys performing and where are they at as far as the development that you'd like to see?
Well, I think that we are a scary opponent for everybody, but that keeps us kind of wallowing in that moral victories area, which I think we're too proud to do. In fact, I know we're too proud to do. Last night being another one of those situations in our trip to Staples, pretty much the same thing happened to us, the previous Thursday night with Barnesville, is that we're right now playing three quarters of a basketball game and just not quite enough to finish things off. And that's really where we're at. We just the next step for us is going to be figuring out how to win. Attitudes, efforts all seem to be there. Getting Mark back has really solidified a rotation where we like what we have, and we think we can mix and match both offensively and defensively for, the first three quarters of a basketball game. But right now, the last, 5 to 7 minutes have really been kicking our tails.
Well, I know, like you said, that is a challenge, and then getting over that hump. I know there's a team in the Big Ten right now, in the Minnesota Golden Gophers, that found a win, and all of a sudden they're looking to make a name. And so, within the HOL, within the section, likewise for the Nuggets, if you guys can find something, you'd like to think that the attitude effort doesn't change, and you continue to stay on that incline, working your way up.
Yeah, our trajectory, I can speak well English, is pretty good right now as far as, just being competitive and proving that we're coachable and proving that we're doing things in practice that improve a squad. But right now we have to figure out what that elixir is going to be to help us get over the top.
Well, like you say, you've got some good leaders, and you had Mark Showers, the one that you mentioned, getting Mark back into the lineup, and how that has been. Who else has been kind of standing out for you at this stage that has been taking over that leadership role and maybe maintaining a leadership role?
Well, we like what we're getting out of our senior. I mean, Levi Lelm has been just a consistent guy ever since he stepped onto the varsity floor. We know what we're going to get out of him. He's going to hit a timely shot here and there. He's going to be able to attack the rim, hard and finish. But more than anything, we're going to get an on-ball defender that really leads what we do at the point of attack. And for the last 2 straight years, he's been given the task of everybody else's best perimeter player, and I don't see that changing. So we get very much a lead by example out of Levi. Mark coming back in has been, like I said, a good addition, and trying to get him into the swing of things despite kind of playing with 1.5 arms at this point. And then, Noah Nelson has been, he's falls out of bed to get a double-double. But also at that point, too, the skill set isn't quite there to be the guy that goes to get a bucket for him, for us, on his own, or not necessarily on his own, but through handling the ball on the perimeter like we've had in the past out of some of the guys that have come through the program. And so the big thing right now, it was trying to find ways, no matter what the defense is, to get the ball in his hands in scoring spots, and then it's up to him to take advantage of those. Jackson Skank, as a junior, has been playing very solid of late, shooting a high percentage. He had some turnover issues early, but those are coaching staff issues, trying to pigeonhole a guy into a spot we thought he would fit into, when the reality is that it might not be it. And now that we've gotten him where he is most comfortable, he's been very, very consistent for us, and has been a big addition, back into the starting lineup where we thought he would be, but a hamstring and some illness kept him from that. So those guys have really performed well. And then we're getting three sophomores that are learning their ways right now in Matthew Crompton as a starter, who basically skipped the entire JV level, which isn't something I like to recommend or do, but it's the situation that we were in. And then Charlie Steer and Elliott Lee are both finding spot minutes and both coming in and shining on the defensive end and working their way to figure some things out on the offensive end as well. But they have given us, really good moments this year and really have been very accountable. And then our final rotation guy who we get to use that's healthy is Coleman Hoff right now. And again, he starting varsity games and didn't start JV games. So there's a acclimation to the speed of the game there for him, especially defensively. But he has been one of the guys that has, for the most part, consistently provided us some floor spacing. So, that's our rotation right now. It wasn't the one we envisioned. We thought we'd have Lincoln Mithun this year too as a sophomore, really impacting the game, baseline to baseline defensively. But what we have filled in nicely around that. And like we talked earlier, it's trying to get these guys solidified to find the way to get over that hump and beat some teams that others maybe think we should.
Well, I know that we're looking at this, and we joked about it over the weekend that, yes, dog days of the basketball season now, but January is a separator month. Your February is going to be loaded. Your section and conference games this next week include, over the next 3 games, I should say, kind of translates over 2, but you've got Perham, DGF, Pelican Rapids, and 3 big-time games that you snag 3 of those. I mean, that changes your trajectory is where you want it to be, but it definitely puts you on that fast track.
Yeah, it would, and that all kind of feels pie in the sky at this moment. I think our next step is to try to win practice today and make sure we get quality. We get a quality day of improvement, and whatever we can take the steps with in practice, and to build off of the fact that for 3/4 of the game last night, that was me trying to do some math and the head spinning there. We played the best defense we'd played all year against the best offensive team in our league at this point and held them down. We've just got to figure out where we're going to find that, because right now every game we play is going to be a close game until we find that consistency to get us to the finish line. And like I said, I feel confident in the guys that we have that we can get there, but we have to find a way to take that next step situationally in practice so we can carry it over situationally in games.
Talk briefly a little bit about the lower levels from the junior varsity through. You've got some guys that are playing. You're getting better. Obviously, those lower levels are important. So, success levels, are we having some at those lower levels of boys basketball in Hawley?
Yeah, really, really happy with our lower levels. JV is kind of always that, when you're in a smaller school, it's kind of always that roller coaster of who has halves and who doesn't, and where do we need guys to fill in. And we changed up how we do practice a little bit this year so we can get the little bit more continuity with the JV guys, a little less shuffling around in practice, so that they start to figure each other out a little bit better than maybe we had done in the past. And that's been a good benefit to them. But once you start to pull away Charlie and Elliott, for example, and they don't have them for the second half, you lose a little bit of that continuity, and other guys get some opportunities, but that'd be 2 guys that would be really successful at the JV level who we're asking to be we're trying to find ways to get them really successful at the varsity level. So I like what we call our white squad as far as pushing the maroon squad every day in practice. In fact, there's been a couple days where they've kicked their tails, and that's been good to see. And then as far as our C squad guys go, Coach Garcia has had a lot of success with those guys. We did some shuffling around to and brought about 4 guys up that have earned their right to be on the C squad a year early, and that's really kind of put together a very solid crew that is figuring out how to play together, mix some grade levels early, but really like what we see there in the pace and the pace and the effort that they can play with on both offensive and defensive ends of the floor.
Well, I'll let you get to practice here today. As you mentioned, it's a one day at a time ordeal, but find a way to snag some victories. Like you say, there's a lot out there. The section, the conference, no night is easy within the HOL, and certainly in section 8AA. It's a gauntlet schedule always, and you wouldn't want it any other way.
Nope, wouldn't want it any other way. And like I said, it's fun night in, night out to try to game plan against the coaches and the teams that are put onto the floor, and to put that extra effort into the practice plan to see how we can help make our kids successful.
Nathan Stoa is the head coach, boys basketball and Hawley. Coach, thanks for the time. Appreciate it very much. Good luck. Yep. I know more coverage throughout the season coming up.
Sounds good. Appreciate everything you guys do at your live event. And if we've proven anything to anybody, it's that we got two guys on this screen that have faces for radio.
We do. That's why we let Big Dog handle most of the home games in Hawley. We get Peter Natz that guy can put a face on a camera. That's for sure.
We'll put that mug anywhere.
Nathan Stoa, head coach, Hawley Nugget, boys basketball.
All right, welcome back on the post-game report here, where the Warroad Warriors have defeated the Bagley Flyers 100-41, and now being joined by Warrior head coach Vichita Ounchith, and win number 15 in the books, and another convincing win for you guys.
Yeah, it was good. It took a little bit. It felt like we were a little lethargic and slow moving. Credit to Bagley. They played a pace that we played, but they played it almost better in that first half. And we were just fortunate enough to get more of the deflections and steals and shots and scores. So, they took us out of our game a little bit, and I don't know if we were shell-shocked in a way or what, or a 2-hour late start was something, or the cold. I'm not sure, but it took us a little bit to get moving.
Yep. And how many teams have you run into in the 15 games that you play? How many teams have you run into that like to run up and down the floor like Bagley did to you tonight?
It has been a lot, or consistently, I should say. There's been a few teams that would do it, and they would kind of taper off a little bit, but Bagley, that's kind of their style. All the years that we've played them in the past, these guys are young, and I think they have a pretty good group of guys coming back next year. So they'll be tough for sure. If not towards the end of the season next year, I would think.
Yeah, I think when you were playing, they think they liked to run, didn't they?
Yes, yeah, and they had like good shooters, and number 30 was giving us fits. Whatever he was opening, it seemed like he was knocking down the shot. So fortunate for us that we were getting more turnovers that went our way and easy buckets too.
And I can't remember if the lead. I can't remember what juncture of the game it was, but I think the lead was at one point it was like 20 or 22. They got it down to like 11 or something like that. I mean, they got it fairly close. Then all of a sudden, boom! It was 3-pointer, 2-pointer, and then I think that might have even been the stretch when Logan Gustafson came in. He had those 3 baskets in a row. I mean, he had some nice minutes tonight.
Yeah, that's kind of what we ask of all the kids, that when you're on the court, you're contributing and not having a drop off, and to have those moments for Logan and anybody else coming off the bench to have a little spark. That's what we want to have. And I thought Brady did a good job after a while once he found his shot to be a little more consistent and more aggressive. It's it's gonna be tough. Right now we're kind of game 15 and total 26 games, and we're in a way we're feeling it. But we just gotta know that we gotta be in this fight no matter what.
Yeah. Like you said, it's game 15 of 26. So you're over half, but there's still a good chunk of season left to go.
Yeah, definitely. And we got to make sure that we are always staying sharp and being in the games, and not being down on ourselves when we miss a shot or have a missed opportunities. It's kind of what we talked about at the end of the games, that the game doesn't stop because of one thing that happened. We got to play it out and fight through it. Be a little more mentally tough as we go.
I don't know if this is a conscious thing or what have you, but the biggest roar of the crowd had to be right at the end when, and I can't even remember who had the basket, but when points 99 and 100 went up.
Yeah, we weren't, I guess, when I went in, I guess it kind of was what it was. The other guys are getting minutes of their own, and they're making the most of it. We weren't doing it within class and just playing it out. Whoever got that bucket, good for them.
Yeah. I mean, 3 times over 100, and you flirted with 100 when you played Monaga. I think you were like 1 shy, and 93. I mean, people probably don't probably won't remember that one because it was that close of a game. But when you guys played Stephen Arga at 93, and then way back in December, you put up 90 against Warren.
Right. Yeah, and that kind of came in waves there too, and that was that was way back when. I didn't think we were gonna get to that point, but I think when the guys press each other and they move the ball and they move without the ball the way they do it, it opens up different opportunities for themselves. So that's just a credit to the guys just staying true to it.
And a byproduct of the way the guys play, they run, they distribute the ball. unselfish to a fault almost. And you look at the score sheet, you see 5 guys in double
Right.
figures.
And that's kind of what it is too for us. Is like, if Zach scores, who scores? It's not Zach, it's us. So we always want to play that way. That's our mindset.
Yeah, because let's see, what do we have? Liam at 27, Kaysen at 19, 14 for Logan, 14 for Zach, 12 for Luke. And Luke Billingsley, he's got his own fan club up here because he scores a basket and it's Luke.
Yeah.
And that's the chant up here, and we're front and center right here. But it's kind of neat when you have little factions like that.
Yeah.
When something like that kind of builds toward the middle of the season.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's we're getting towards the tail end of January now, and we got some tough games come next week, Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday. So we got to prep for those. The rest of the week now that we don't have a game, so we just got to come with a good game plan and get our guys ready.
Yeah, and getting healthier too. I'm assuming not only the basketball team, but I think Warroad High School as a whole, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think we had all the guys that got sick here and there, and I think our junior high kind of hit that as well. Even for us right now, we have the injury bug. I think Hudson's still out and Andrew's still out. So hopefully this week they're gonna have enough time to kind of recover and heal up, and hopefully get on the floor next week.
Yeah, you're going to need them, especially when you've got 3. Coach, appreciate it. Thanks for joining us here on the post-game report, and congrats on win number 15, going over 100. I know you're a stats guy, but at the end of the day, it really doesn't. I mean, it's the W that you're worried about. That's the most important.
Yeah, for sure. And it's always like how many turnovers did we commit, or have the other team commit, or the rebounding. That's kind of what we look at as far as stats go, for sure.
Exactly. Coach, appreciate it. Thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right.
Treat yourself to a great career at American Crystal Sugar Company. Team up with quality people making quality products. Full-time and year-round in a stable business. With great pay and benefits, including time off available from day one. American Crystal Sugar Company invests in you to promote your continued growth and career advancement. Grow your career, doing your best work within the world's best beet sugar company. Apply online today at AmericanCrystalCareers.com.
Don't be fooled by that beat-up old cap. Its faded crown represents the tireless work of America's farmers and ranchers. Its sturdy brim, their dedication to providing our nation with a safe, affordable food source. So we'd like to tip our hat to them. Farmers Union Insurance, protecting those that protect America's food source.
Visit with Ryan Opdahl, your local Farmers Union Insurance agent in Hillsboro.
Growers, prepare your fields and yields against the wet conditions for 2025 and beyond with a drain tile project from Chad's Excavating out of Mayville. Drain tiling will improve and increase your yields and land values for years to come. Chad's Excavating provides free, detailed estimates, and with over 40 years of combined success, they provide professional installation and service. Call Chad today to prepare for your future and any questions that you might have. That's Chad's Excavating out of Mayville, helping farmers grow.
Fosston Greyhound boys basketball coach Ben Hemberger joining us on the Coaches Show, and here we are in January, and boy, some teams have played 15, 16 games already, and the schedule heats up now.
It does. It gets quick. We got 3 games this week, and I think we got 3 games again next week, so it's going to start clipping by here in a quick hurry.
Okay, when this is being recorded, you have your game with Lake Park Audubon coming up, but for those who aren't familiar with the Greyhounds, kind of break down this year's team.
Well, we're still trying to find our way a little bit. I think we've been pretty competitive in pretty much all of our games. The one that we maybe took one on the chin was the other night at East Grand Forks when they kind of took us out behind the woodshed a little bit. But other than that, we've had a chance to win every single game that we've been in, and including the other 4 losses, and been competitive. Just a few things haven't gone our way, and we haven't quite figured out how to close out those tight ball games like that yet. That hopefully as we plug along here, we'll start figuring some of those things out.
Sometimes it's a matter of like 3 or 4 minutes, right?
It is, and I think back to like the Norman County East Ewan Hitterdall game, and I don't think we scored for about the first 4.5 minutes of the game, and I think the last 5 minutes of the game we scored 1 point. And up until that last 4 or 5 minutes of the game, we were up by 6 at that point, and we ended up losing by 15. So, it's just things like that. And like I said, figuring out how to close out the close ball games. The Cass Lake game was the same way, kind of. We up by 6, 7 at halftime, led by 9 or 10 a couple different times in the second half, and let it slip away at the end. And the Clearbrook game up by 5, and with 4.5 left or whatever, and end up losing by 4. And I think back to the Fertile game too. That one ended up being about 12, but it was a tight ball game, competitive ball game, back and forth most of the way, and we gave ourselves a chance. But we talk a lot about making winning plays, and the winning play may not be the play at the end of the game that everybody sees that wins it, but it could be a loose ball on the floor that we don't get here, or we do get, or a rebound. Hit a big bucket in a clutch situation early in the game. Things like that can just as well win a ball game for you, as well as what you see at the end.
I know turnovers, that's one thing you've been working on, and in some games you really haven't had that many, but there have been a couple where you've been pretty high in the number.
Yeah, there have. There's that's one thing that we've really been trying to get better at, and the other night at East Grand Forks, it really got us. It was pretty ugly, to be honest, but then there's other games too where we've done a really good job of taking care of the ball. We've had a couple games down in the 12-13 range, which is very respectable, and we'll definitely take that any day of the week. But and one other area that we're trying to improve on too is our defensive rebounding. We've been giving up offensive rebounds at a pretty high clip this year, and in order for us to be successful, we're not the most high-powered offense, and sometimes offense can be a bit of a struggle for us to score the ball, but when you're giving teams extra possessions with the offensive boards and the turnovers, it makes it even tougher for you to win these ball games. So those are two areas right there that I think if we can shore those up, it's going to really greatly increase our chances.
Of course, one of the seniors, Will Christian, boy, he's had several double-doubles this season. He goes out there and he plays 100% all the time.
He does. The other night at Black Duck, he had 30 points and 25 boards, and I think 11 of those, or he had 15 offensive boards, and I think 11 of those were off of his own misses, But I mean, he's been having a great season for us. He's averaging, I think, right around 16 points and 11 boards a game for us right now, and doing a really, really good job. And he's been an inside presence for us, and and teams know that we want to try to go through him as much as we can. And and for the most part, he's risen to the challenge. And I think another kid that's had a nice solid year is Ryan Dupong. Defensively, he's always drawn the opposing team's best player. I mean, really, regardless of size, at times it seems like. But he does a great job on the defensive end and leads us there. And he's had a few high offensive scoring games as well himself. So, those two guys have been kind of leading us, and we've had a few other kids that have, stepped in and pitched in along the way. Dawson Bailey's had a quiet, successful season, I think, for us, and and a couple of other kids as well. So it's. Every year is different, and this year is no other year, but it's not any different than any other year, but it's been a lot of fun as well.
Some younger kids that have developed throughout the year coming off your bench and producing.
They are, and we don't have a whole lot of kids. We only have 14 kids, 9 through 12, which is unfortunate, but so we've had to rely on some younger kids, and and a couple in particular that have come in and given good minutes this year are Jake Howard and Jack Seckley, and both of those kids have hit some clutch shots in key situations for us, and that's one thing that those two kids can bring is a little bit of shooting and that type of stuff to the perimeter. And so far they've done a good job, and still trying to gain a little confidence as we go, and hopefully we can keep that improving.
Before I let you go, I want to get your feeling about the Section 8 scene along with the Pine to Prairie Conference. Both are loaded with a lot of good teams, and we've said it before, whoever comes out of this section is going to earn it.
They are. I think if you were to look at the balance of power, I guess, in Section 8, I would say, it's probably more leaning towards the west right now with, teams like Fertile and Red Lake County, and, Warren is playing extremely well right now. I think they're starting to get healthy as well. They were banged up a bit earlier in the year. And, teams like that, Sacred Heart, I think is going to be right in the mix. Then you got some sneaky teams too, like a Stephen Argyle, who their record may not show it, but they definitely have some players and they have some ability to do some solid things on that side. And I think you look at our half, I think it's pretty wide open, to be honest. I think any of the teams on our side, 1 through 6 or 7, could realistically, come out of this thing, and it's just going to be a matter of who's playing their best at the right time of the year
and staying healthy too.
Definitely. So far we've been pretty good, other than the sickness bug a little bit, but hopefully we can keep that going as well. And to be honest, hopefully the other teams can as well, because that makes it a lot more fun.
Yep, sounds good. Ben Hemberger, Fosston Greyhound boys basketball coach, joining us on the Coaches Show, and good luck the rest of the season, and thanks for sharing your time.
Sounds good. Thank you, Tom.
Right now, head coach Tyler Cook for the Rockets of New Rockford-Sheyenne joins us right here on the Coaches program on YourLiveEvent.com. Thanks, Coach, for joining us here. And Coach Cook currently in his 13th year as head coach for the boys in New Rockford. And, of course, Tyler has some other duties as well in New Rockford, helps out with football and track and student engagement teacher as well in New Rockford. So busy man, and thanks for joining us here. So we want to talk about the Rockets season. The Rockets are doing pretty good this year, off to a good start in Division B, District 4. They are rated 6th in the state and also have a record of 8-1. So give us your thoughts so far on Rocket basketball so far this year.
Yeah, we've had a good start to the year. We've played a few close games and found ways to win, and then we had the one loss coming in a one possession game against a good Carrington team. So we've learned a lot about our guys in some tight games early in the season here.
What do you think has probably most contributed to your team's success this year so far?
We're finally old. We have a lot of juniors and seniors on the court that have played a lot of minutes for me. And then the successful football season, learning how to win in big games, I think has really carried over, and just the mentality these kids have now has helped a lot.
Yeah, of course, that state championship there, 9-man, and definitely carrying over to the basketball season now. Maybe talk about some individual players that have helped the team get to this point so far.
My junior point guard, Easton Simon, he's third year starting for me at the point. So he's the guy with the ball in his hands a lot. He's averaging about 18 points, seven rebounds, and 7 assists a game. So he's doing a little bit of everything for us. He's our calmer. He keeps everything under control and gets us to what we need to do. And then we got Bennett Meyer, my other 1-2 punch. He's a senior forward. Very tall, lanky, athletic kid that's averaging about 16 points and 11 rebounds a game. He does a little bit of everything for us, just our quiet leader out there.
Okay, so tomorrow night, you guys open up district play, and that's in New Rockford. You take on the Polar Bears of Larimore. So what do you got to do? What keys to victory tomorrow night?
Yeah, they're very quick. Their guards are very quick, and they like to get up and down and pressure you. They come with a lot of different zones. So that'll be a look we haven't seen a ton of yet this year. So that'll be good for our guys. And they play hard. He's got them playing hard. They shoot a lot of 3-pointers. It's going to be a very interesting matchup for us. They're smaller in size, but very fast.
Maybe give us some top teams in District 4 and your region as well.
Greg's Midcota's playing well right now in our district. I think Larimore's right there at the top with them as well. And when you look region-wide, North Border and Midway both in the top 10 right now. I think they play tonight. That would be a very interesting game to see what happens there. They're both very, very quick and very explosive on the offensive end.
How about some goals for Rocket basketball this year?
Our number one goal is win the district tournament. We feel like we have the guys to do it. It's just putting it all together. We have about half the season here to get things going. We haven't got into district play, like you said. Thursday is our first game, so that'll kind of show us where we're at and what we need to do.
Okay, and one more question before we let you go here. Maybe give us some memories so far. How's practice going? Anything that sticks out in your mind so far through the 9 games?
Yeah, it's been good. I have playing 9 guys right now on my varsity, so it's been fun every day in practice. They get after each other. That's been the best part of practice with this many older guys. You're not going freshmen versus seniors. You got older guys going after each other and making each other better every day. I think that's been huge to our success so far.
And maybe assistant coaches, who's helping you on the bench this year?
Craig DeMeester's assistant, and then Chance LeBreeze, my junior high C squad coach. So he sits there with us too.
Okay, well, good deal. Well, thanks, Tyler, for joining us here, and good luck tomorrow night and, of course, the rest of the season as the Rockets are rated in the top 10 teams in Division B boys basketball. So good luck tomorrow night and the rest of the season as well.
Thanks for having me.
You bet.
There's more at 104. Hillsboro, North Dakota has everything you need on your next road trip. Food, fuel, fun, and family-friendly activities. Stop by and fill up your tank or grab a bite to eat. Have a blast at Goose River Golf Club, the swimming pool, or one of our beautiful parks. There's even ice skating and cross-country skiing. Take in the sights or stay the night so you don't miss a thing. Experience Hillsboro and see why there's more at 104.
Parenting is hard for all of us. And so providing those little resources that we can share for those conversations that are hard to have and to kind of be that icebreaker for both professionals, parents, and then open up that conversation to the more engaging conversation that's needing to be had.
Being a parent myself, oftentimes it's the simple things that make a difference.
As a busy parent myself, just engaging with your kids, making it an everyday thing so they know that you're there, they can always come to you when those difficult situations do arise.
Contact Trail District Health Unit in Hillsboro for more information.
Sharing our heritage, sharing our future. Choosing the right bank for your financial needs can be challenging with the many choices available. Dakota Heritage Bank is pleased you're interested in knowing more about what they can do for you. The Dakota Heritage Bank community bank setting is a strong advantage they have over larger, less personal banks. Customers are more than account numbers, they are friends and neighbors. Working together, Dakota Heritage Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
58-54, Sargent County with the victory over Wyoming-Lidgewood. I'm joined by head coach Ryan Weber. Coach, you can take a breath now. Congratulations on the win. Man, what can you say about the effort that your team brought out there on the floor tonight?
Well, we had been looking for this all season long. And it's something that, me and Coach Shute and Coach Peterson have been trying to get out of these guys all year long. And it took us a bit to get consistent effort, consistent fundamentals, boxing out, crashing boards, stuff like that. And tonight we had some lapses. Obviously, it wasn't a perfect game, but we saw a lot more of what we have been asking them to do, which is great to see.
Just talked to Michael Hoysted. He had 20 points. He's one of those players that you've been asking for more. What can you say about the effort that Hoysted was able to bring out to the floor here tonight?
I challenged Mike earlier this week to get more out of him, to get more consistent effort, doing the little things and being a senior leader on this team. Tonight, it showed out. All those things that we had been preaching, he kept us in the game. He got a bunch of offensive rebounds early on. Those were easy buckets for him. And it was great to see him finally show the type of player that he can be. It's awesome to see.
Absolutely. So one last question for you. You played probably 8, 9, 10 different guys here this evening. What can you say about the production, whether it be in the box score or not? What can you say about the production from all the guys that you threw out there on the floor tonight?
I love seeing it. Eli Olson, when I stuck him into the second half, he's never runs out of energy. The energy guy. I told him go in there and create some chaos. We put him in there. We went into that press and it kind of threw him off. And he's hustling his butt off. And it's good to know that I can dip into the bench and play a bunch of guys. Obviously, like tonight, a few of them got more minutes than others, but I think that's the great part about this team is they embrace their role. The older guys are embracing these younger guys and helping them along. And when Hans and Eli and Cole, they get in there, the older guys are uplifting to them, and it makes them work that much harder. And it's awesome to be able to dip down on that bench and just throw anybody out there. Let's see what we can do.
Absolutely. Well, Coach, congrats on the win. Win number 1. let's see what you guys are able to do moving
let's go.
forward.
Thank you, Mr. Ferg.
All right. Good luck the rest of the way. That's Coach Weber. We'll be right back with final stats here on your live event. We'll be right back.
Coach's comments as Brady Schwab, the head coach of the Thompson Tommies, joins us. Our post-game coach's comments from River's Edge Insurance Agency in Halston. And, Coach, congratulations on the victory here tonight. Could see a switch at halftime, so let's talk about the first half right now of just what you saw out there of trying to get that fast start you talked about, but not really seeing it happen.
Yeah, and it was one thing like we talked about in the pregame where we said, it's one thing on film to look fast and those things, but when you get out on the court, and that's one thing I think that they do a nice job of is they put athletes out there, and all those athletes can shoot the ball, but they work extremely hard to get boards, and I think the first half there was a lot of times where we were trailing, we put ourselves in bad positions on the defensive end, and you give them a spot or a step, and it's a three, and it's almost guaranteed. So I thought the second half we did a much better job. We came out and we didn't trail as much, and we anticipated and maybe learned a little bit from the first half about the kids we were defending, and we had a real nice run there. I think it was the kind of end of the third quarter where we went on a run, and we got out and ran our lanes, we defended, and we secured boards. We didn't give up the 50-50s. The best I could guess the first half, I think we gave up every 50-50, and second half we didn't give up near as many, and against these, against quality teams, you give up 50-50s and it's a long night.
You talk about the rebound, and you beat me to it, because by my tally, first half you're +1, second half I had you +13, including a number of big offensive rebounds, especially down in that fourth quarter.
Yeah, and that, we had a size advantage, right? And I don't think we used it very well the first half. We came out second half, had a discussion at halftime about getting the ball inside. And a lot of times when you get the ball inside, it's not just the fact that you have a chance to score. It's also the fact that you have guys in better rebounding position, and they can, anticipate where the ball is going to go. And I thought we did a much better job, like I said, that second half on the boards and running the lanes. And then, I thought we defended the three ball better the second half. I don't know how many they had the second half. I know they had a bunch first half. And, we got out and got a hand in the face and did a better job on that.
Also talking about going inside, freed your guys up for the second half, getting the long-distance shots. Both the Gavins came through with a couple big threes there and helped get some energy going.
Yeah, we start the 5 seniors, but we bring Hippen and Oster off the bench, and both those guys bring different things. Noah's that energy guy, hits the boards. He's hard to defend. He defends extremely well. And then Gavin's that kind of guy that can come in and hit those threes and can handle the ball a little bit. And, they've been giving us some really, really good minutes, and we've been able to settle into a little bit more of a rotation, so those guys are a little more comfortable knowing when they're going to come in the game, knowing how those guys are going to move when they're in the game, and what type of sets we're going to run when they're in the game. So yeah, it was, anytime, basketball hasn't changed in a long time, right? It's still an inside-out game, and you live and die by the three, and we don't have that luxury this year. We do have the luxury of some bigger guys, so if we can get the ball in there and get a couple buckets, it does open things up for guys on the outside.
As talked off air a little bit in the pregame too, big matchup coming up for you guys now on Friday here. Both girls, boys travel for a doubleheader there to Devil's Lake.
Yeah, that's always a tough place to play. They're a good team. They're athletic. Both the males and females are athletic, and we've got our hands full. We know that, but it's kind of one of those things where you get them twice, probably 3 times when you factor the postseason in. So we're going to go in and we're going to compete, and we're going to see where we're at. The big thing with Devil's Lake is once they get going, that's a 3-headed monster that's going to continue to go. So if we can defend, from the start and not wait until the second half, we'll see where the chips fall.
Well, best of luck coming up there on Friday night. Brady, congratulations on the victory, and look forward to following you guys going forward.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Here we go.
As we continue on the YourLiveEvent.com Coaches Show, join us this week for our Senior Spotlight from Kindred is Jake Starcevic here, a University of Army football commit, obviously having a really nice season on the basketball court as well for his team. And Jake, before we talk about your school in general, let's just go over first things first, the commitment for college, whether it's Concordia, MSUM, Army. It's a big deal to be moving on at any particular level as a college athlete. So just take us through your recruiting process and what made, West Point kind of be the right area for you moving forward in the fall.
Yeah, it was a cool process, special process, short or long, stressful, non-stressful. It's different for everyone. So got to meet with a lot of different coaches at a lot of schools, and ended up taking a visit out to West Point at Army, and loved it, connected with the coaches, and just very happy to have that opportunity to go there and be a part of something so special like that. So yeah, it was a different experience than anything else I'd ever had before. And you only go through it once, so it's definitely different. And getting to know the ropes and all that is weird sometimes, but yeah, it was a cool experience, and I'm glad I'm going where I ended up.
Take us through the recruiting process, because again, it's one of those things that really only happens once. I know in today's day and age of college athletics with the transfer portal and everything else, maybe it happens more than that. But in terms of high school, being in high school, finding your way to college, it only happens once. What would be something that you would like to pass down for the next group that's maybe going to be in your shoes, whether they are, next year or 3 years from now, Jake, in terms of trying to be a college athlete? What'd you kind of just learn about the process?
Yeah, obviously, again, it's different than it has been in the past with NIL and the portal and stuff. So I think the biggest thing that I would say would be to just find the right school for you, because you never know what coaches are going to be there, what players are going to be there, what the program's going to look like in a few years. But if you pick the right program with the right roots and all that stuff, and you just go back and you look at how successful they've been, and just make sure that's the right program for you. Because like I said, you never know who's going to be there in a couple of years with all that's been going on in college sports and college football. So I think that, and then, yeah, just find the one that's the right fit for you, no matter how far, no matter what level, just find somewhere that you want to be.
Was the service academy something that was on your list for a while, or did it just kind of play out like that once you got through the recruiting process? Go, you know what, Army might not be maybe my first choice maybe 2 or 3 years ago, but once you got into the process, this is starting to become, kind of top of the food chain. How did that kind of work with the, service academy here?
Yeah, so if you would have told me when I was younger or a couple of years ago that I was going to go to Army or service academy period, I would have been like, you're crazy. I'm I'm not going to go there. But yeah, it just kind of wound up. Coach Drinkle, who's actually at Central Michigan now as the head coach, he reached out to me last year and just asked if I was interested, because they probably reach out to a lot of kids that aren't interested in service academy. So I'm like, yeah, I mean, I haven't really thought about it, but he sent me a couple things. I'm like, yeah, this is pretty cool. I'd be interested in this. So about a week later, got an offer. Went out there a couple weeks later for a visit with my dad and my uncle, and yeah, just fell in love with the place. Absolutely loved it. Loved the coaches. Loved everything there. So it was special. But yeah, I mean, definitely wasn't up there on my list to start recruiting. But once you get to know the place, I mean, it's definitely a special place. That's the one thing. The most important thing about recruiting for West Point probably is you just got to get out there and see it, because everyone thinks, oh, West Point, Army, scary thing, lots of big commitments and stuff. But you go out there, man, it's just a bunch of normal kids, like talking to the players on the team and getting to have them talk to my family. Like, they're just normal, respectful, good kids, and it's gonna be an awesome thing to be a part of. It's special.
It'll be fun. What's your transition period? Last question, kind of on Army before we kind of get to your senior year here. So once high school is done, how quickly do you need to be out there? I know when it comes to college athletics, everyone has a different time frame of when they have to be on campus and stuff. Obviously, with the service academy point of view, you have another thing to add on to your plate here, Jake. So just kind of what's your time frame once high school is done, once you get out to the East Coast?
Yeah, so I'm going to be going to the prep school at West Point. So it's a little bit different. It's essentially for football, it's like a redshirt year. And for school and stuff, it's kind of like just getting used to the military aspect of stuff, and timing, responsibility, all that stuff. So just another year to kind of develop and get that stuff under my belt. And they use it as like a redshirt year, because you can't have red shirts in the academies. It's a strict 4-year program. So I'm going to go there, and we still got basic and everything. And then they have like their own football team too. So instead of sitting behind guys and kind of being a practice dummy at practice for your first year, you get to go out there and play some other prep schools, play some JUCO teams. So go do that and get some playing football in instead of watching and sitting. So that'll be fun. And I think it's either June or July I'll head out there for basic. And then I think basic is like 3 or 4 weeks, and then start getting into school and some football stuff. So yeah, I'm excited for that, and it'll be cool.
Before you head out there, obviously basketball season, midway kind of point of the season right now with where we are in the latter part of January. Obviously, you turn the page to February, you know what's around the corner here, Jake. So just from basketball to school, what are you most looking forward to here these last couple of months, being a Kindred Viking?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just looking forward to keep having fun with my guys and my teammates and coaches and teachers. This is only my second year here in Kindred, but it's just like West Point. It's a special place. Maybe not as academically high or like prestigious or stuff like that as a college like West Point, but it's a special place with a special community and lots of great people, and I love being here. And I'm just going to take these next couple of weeks, next couple of months to just have fun with my guys. Hopefully, win a couple more games and get to that state tournament, and just keep having fun and keep making memories.
What have you kind of learned from your coaches during your tenure there? I know a lot of people ask you about Eric Burgad, same thing with Brad Whale currently in this season. Just kind of what have you kind of learned from your coaches throughout, whether it's the fall, winter, spring, anything in the summer, obviously, as well, Jake, that you kind of hope to take with you going to Army?
Yeah, each coach is a little bit different. They shape you in different ways, but the coaches we have in Kindred are amazing. Basketball, football, track, whatever it might be that the sport you're participating in is. But yeah, just little things, not just things about the game either, just being a better person in general and how to carry yourself. I think all of our coaches, in our football banquet, I give a shout out to every single one of our football coaches. Like they do a really good job, and I'm just thankful to have them be my coach and have them be a part of my life. And then basketball, same thing. You got 4 or 5 coaches on the staff this year that are awesome, and they know ball, and they know how to make you a good person too. So it's a special place with good people to be around.
As you take a look at it, any superstitions when it comes to sports? Were you superstitious at all when it came to any particular games, or was it let's just put the helmet on, let's get to the opening tip as an example? How does that kind of work for you as a player here, Jake?
Yeah, you got your pregame what you call it, schedule, I guess, that you go through every time. So just making sure I got all my stuff. I always feel like I'm forgetting something, and it's usually some small, but make sure I got all my stuff, put all the gear on and strap it up and get ready to go for football. Basketball, pregame music for both too, I guess. We got some songs for basketball we play before the game every time, and then just strapping it on, getting ready to play.
When you take a look at school, what's one thing you enjoy most learning about at Kindred there?
In the past, it's probably been math, but math as I've gotten older has become way harder and just not enjoyable for me. So, I still like math at times, but the thing that I've actually grown more interest in is history. And that's a cool thing going to West Point too, like so much history there and the stuff that you learn. But yeah, I'd say history and like government stuff, that stuff's kind of cool to me. So fascinating. When
it comes to history, is it world history, American history, all the above, just kind of what's something that you really kind of starts clicking a little bit?
Yeah, I think all of it. American history obviously is cool. I like to say I'm pretty patriotic and love this country. So American history, and it's cool to, obviously you need to learn about what's happened in the past in the world too. So some of that stuff's cool, and just little tidbits that you don't know that you get to learn. It's pretty cool.
Favorite pregame meal? If you could have one meal before a game, what would it kind of be?
If I could pick the meal I have before a game, I would probably say a ribeye steak from Texas Roadhouse, some loaded mashed potatoes and a house salad. But that would probably have to be a couple hours before the game. So.
Yeah, you're not taking that at 6 o'clock for a 7:30 varsity tip, are you, Jake?
Absolutely not, no.
As you move forward here, just taking a look at this particular juncture, what's something for the basketball season, since we're in basketball season? What's one thing that you enjoy most about this particular team that you hope to carry to where you were last year, which is a run through the region to get to state and have an opportunity to play in that state tournament again coming up in March?
Yeah, I mean, this is a very skilled team. We got 7, 8, 9 guys in a rotation that would probably play for any other team in the state, maybe start. So I mean, very skilled group. And the thing I like now is we're all just we're in it for the right reasons. Like we're playing as a team. We're unselfish. We're passing the ball. And I mean, we got 5, 6 guys, or probably 7 guys that are going to go to college to play sports or could. And just having that skill set and these guys, and then seeing the unselfishness that we play with and the defense that we play, and just playing as a team, that's what I like. And last year, end of the season didn't play our best. I don't know if we really reached our full potential at all last year, but hopefully this year's different, and good start to the season. Just got to keep it rolling and keep getting better week by week, month by month. And hopefully when it really starts to matter, we can put together a good string of games.
Hey, Jake, congratulations again on your commitment to the University of Army, and looking forward to seeing you at the basketball court sooner rather than later here.
Awesome. I appreciate all the coverage over the years. I really appreciate it from your live venue. So thank you.
That again, Jake Starcevic from the Kindred Vikings for our senior spotlight here on the YourLiveEvent.com Coaches Show. Again, that's the YourLiveEvent.com Coaches Show, presented to you by the Hillsborough Economic Development Corporation. Make sure you join us for our next show on Wednesday, January 29th, as we close out the first month of the year of 2025. I'm Chase Miller. Enjoy the rest of your week.